Highest and best use. That is a term I learned in real estate. It is a question I ask of myself. Are you and your team functioning at your highest and best use? If you buy and sell cars for a profit, or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius Podcast. I am your host, Randy Lee. I've been flipping cars most of my life, despite having almost zero mechanical skill. For the past dozen years or so, I've been a licensed used car dealer in the great state of Alabama. No matter what the topic, the number one goal of this podcast is to help our listeners make more money. Let's get to it, flippers. Hey, welcome to episode 63 of the Flipping Genius Podcast. And these are crazy times in America, right? Today, as I record this, it is the end of March 2021, and we're seeing the highest used car prices probably ever, except for maybe next week when they go up higher. Just an example, this morning I was at a dealer auction and I spotted two vehicles, kind of had some interest in them, a couple nice looking utility vans. Thought I might be able to do something with them. I figured they'd probably sell for around $4,500 and $5,500 on my lot after I cleaned them up, fixed them, and I was hoping to make, $1,000 a piece on them. So you do the math. What I wanted to pay for them was a lot less than that. Both of them was sold for $8,700 a piece. So that one didn't happen. Anyway, I'm back here talking in front of the microphone instead of out rubbing fenders with a rag on whatever that Jim Croce song is. The car wash, that's what the song is. Now on the plus side, I have flipped 4 good deals in the past couple of weeks and made tremendous margins on everything. Not gigungous money, but still made some good money. Anytime you make good money, it's good. And speaking of that, if you haven't seen my 4-part series it's titled Real Live 3-hour car flip. It's on the Flipping Genius channel. You should check it out. It's we're trying to do more things like that on the Flipping Genius channel, not just the podcast. And I think that was a pretty interesting one, especially for the folks who are maybe new to car flipping. I've had Chris, as a guy I think in Utah, asked me, hey, want to get into car flipping and I don't have a big budget. And I thought this one, I really thought of you when I did this. Excuse me. Kickapoo joy juice, folks. If you're watching the video, you got to see it. But the videos I think are done pretty well. Just a little vehicle. I literally bought it on a Sunday, cleaned it up on a Monday, took it to a private auction, the public auction, and sold it on that following Tuesday. So less than 72 hours and less than 3 hours actual time involved in that flip. And I, made a nice amount of money, considering the amount of money I put into it. But check it out. Go to Flipping Genius YouTube channel if you haven't already got there. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, on the Flipping Genius YouTube channel, keep watching. At the end, I'll put a tab. You can just click right on it and start that 4-part series. The first one's like 3 minutes. The second one's 3 minutes. The last one's the longest, where I wrap everything up. But you really want to take a look at it because you want to see that vehicle before and after and see what we did with it. Because if I can do it, anybody can do it, and that's the whole point there. But on the YouTube channel, trying to make sure I cover everything. Now, I want to go back to the 3-hour flip idea. In case you're not familiar with Jeremy Fisher, Jeremy came on our episode 42 and talked about his video training course called 3-Hour Car Flip, and that's why I was referring to that. Jeremy's an awesome guy. He supports our program. He's a good guy, and he's got a great class called 3-Hour Flip for, especially if you're new to car flipping. And we promote it. We sell it on our resources page for just $50. And so the cool thing about that is I always talk about when you see my pitch on it or video, I always say, if you don't make 10 times the amount, the $50 that you spend for Jeremy's class on your first flip, you're doing something wrong. And what was really cool is I did exactly that. I made more than 10 times the amount of Jeremy's class on that 3-hour flip. So check that out. You can see that on the resources page. You can watch some previews of Jeremy's course, and it's money well invested there. I'll probably talk about it more later. I don't mean to be trying to just sell you all the time, but this one will make you money. So that's the whole idea. In times like these, when things get a little crazy and money's questionable, I suppose, it's vital to know who you are and what you do, and that goes back to that term highest and best use that I talked about in the introduction. And for me, it's different than it is for you. We have different skill sets. You may be a master mechanic and I may be not. Just for instance, you have different assets. Maybe you have deeper pockets than I do, or maybe vice versa. So financially, you're gifted one way or another. Chris said he didn't have any money, but that didn't mean you could not do some flipping. And that's what I wanted to demonstrate in that video. Experientially, you may have more experience under a car, or you may have more experience out on the street. You may have more experience doing what I'm doing right here, or working with a computer, which is fantastic because that's where things are going. Socially, maybe you're more adept at speaking to people. Whatever your skill set is, you need to know what that is in times like these. Especially, you got to know who you are, what your strengths are, know what types of vehicles that you like to flip or are going to be good at it. Something I know. I know what part of the workload I am skilled at. I know who I have on my team and what they're good at. I know who I sell to, and believe me, even more importantly, who I buy from, because you got to get vehicles. I know how to reach them, and I know how to talk to them when I do reach them. And a lot of that, that last part, that communication part, comes from knowing my guest today. And Rachel Eubanks was my guest in episode 62 as well. And we talked about how to streamline our communication methods and how to organize our words that we use to get in touch and stay in touch with the people that we sell to and buy from. And how we do that, if we do that right, we can make more money. Now, I don't know about you, but I've already started using what I learned from Rachel in the last episode to strengthen my marketing and improve not only my communication with buyers and turn lost opportunities into new opportunities, but I've also begun to use what she taught us to build new context systems to reach my sellers, people who will sell me vehicles, on a more systematic and professional basis. So if you haven't listened to episode 62, or you haven't watched episode 62, I encourage you to do so after you watch this one. You don't have to watch that first to watch this. And if you have watched it and you didn't feel like you got what I just said out of it, I encourage you to listen to it again, because I think some of the things that Rachel said in that first episode knocked my socks off. And I think if you listen right with the right ears, you'll hear it that she'll do for you too. But it reaches all of us differently. But I know there was some good value there. Now I'm going to cue this up with one short break. But when we come back, I'm going to get Rachel to tell us how to find the highest and best use, not only for ourselves and our current team, but how to expand our reach and improve our abilities without breaking the bank. This is going to be good. Hey, thanks for listening. And I want you to consider becoming a flipping team member. And when you do, we will share with you a startup kit that is valued at $250 or more. And each month, you'll get our Flipping Team Member Success Pack, which is also designed to help you make more money. Each and every month, you'll get more bonus material and other information because you're a Flipping Team member. Go to flippinggenius.com and click on the Flipping Team Member button to learn more. I usually, every podcast, my podcast always opens up by telling everybody that I don't know how to turn a wrench. And the video version is telling them that if you see me under the hood, that means you just ran me over with your car. That is not my strength. And so what's really cool is I have a team that helps me with that. And the guys here, we mentioned Dennis Johnson, auto repair all the time, and Gary and the guys down there, they save my life on every deal. And that is just, that's what I do. And I actually like writing. I love the podcast thing. This is a lot of fun. I like meeting with people face to face. So those are my strengths. I like marketing. You know, I've got a lot of things that I'm good at. I'm just not good at anything involved with mechanics, which is remarkable that I'm still in the car flipping business. But the thing is, you form a team, and I think, despite what Rachel just said, and I think it's exactly true. The fact is that if you know, Dennis Johnson is probably, he's not a great orator. He's a great guy, and I wish I could get him on the podcast because it's hilarious. He's got great stories. But speaking in public is not his strength. So he has a crew. Gary, the guy I mentioned, Gary's his operations guy, and it's who I talk to all the time. Dennis's sons are involved in more of the upfront thing. So he's formed the team using his best skills. And apparently his best skills are driving $85,000 trucks and going fishing in a boat that probably costs more than my house. But which is a damn good skill to have. Right? You have to work into that.
It is.
But I guess I'm skipping ahead here a little bit. I don't want. We can tie up your day because you've got so much good information. But can you give me some ideas on how a copywriter could work in a team setting like that as somebody's building their flipping business, whatever that business is?
Yeah. So most copywriters, I'm speaking about myself right here. Most copywriters offer done for you services, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's done for you. And so you really do. I love the word, the word that you use, team. You hire a copywriter as a contractor to come onto your team. And it can work 2 or 3 different ways. One of the ways is almost a retainer, that you pay that copywriter for a certain number of hours a month, and you tell him or her exactly, you know, this is what I need you working on this month. On the flip side, you hire the copywriter for certain projects. So for certain deliverables, you know, 3 emails or 4 emails a month. And I'm going to want, 3 Facebook posts a week, something like that. That's an example. So that's when you're hiring per project versus as a retainer. And so copywriters do that all the time. In fact, that's how I make my money, is to be hired on as a contractor, as a team member for someone who says, look, I know I could probably figure out this writing thing, Rachel, but honestly, what you offer is more valuable right now to me. I can be using my time to do something that only I can do. Exactly. And Rachel, you're a copywriter, so I'm willing to hire you to do the copywriting. Exactly. So that's exactly how a copywriter works.
I'm not a big NASCAR fan, but I there's a new TV show that shows this NASCAR team, and I like watching it. But if you watch NASCAR at all, the driver doesn't jump out of his car and fix the car. He's got like 19 guys going, and they drop that thing and he's back in the race. And on a football team, which I did used to coach football. You've got at the University of Alabama's probably got 20 guys on staff to coach each little part of it. It's just important that you have a team. And in real estate, they have a term called highest and best use. I love that term because that's what we should all be looking at, is what's your highest and best use. That's what Dennis Johnson's doing. That's why he's driving that big truck and that has that beautiful boat and has such a great business, because he gets people to do the highest and best use. And it's an interesting thing here, because as much as Dennis, we all love him. He doesn't pay me any money, by the way. I like to mention every episode, he's still not paying me any money. But as he builds his website, as he sends out communications, as he interacts, we want that Dennis flavor. You know, we want to know we're dealing with him. And so I think that's the other thing that I know you can do. You can take that and incorporate it in what you're doing as far as wording. But I'm saying that I know you can do that. But how do you do that and represent them on social media, in emails, and still make it them, not you?
Okay, I'm so glad you said that, because that's honestly what a copywriter does. That is the copywriter's job, is that they sweep in. You should not be able to tell the difference between what a copywriter writes and what the business owner writes or has written in the past for the business. And so there's a couple of tricks that I do as a copywriter in order to get somebody's voice. Number two, it also just takes time. And then number three, a part of my service is I literally have an onboarding piece for how I do done for you copy, which means that I sit in and listen to calls that you're making with customers. I interview customers, so I hear the words that they're using. I read your past correspondence, your past ads, your past emails, listen into those calls, because then I get to hear the business owner speak. Because you're right. Otherwise, you just need a good virtual assistant. I tell that to people a lot. There's a difference between a virtual assistant who's going to write fantastic emails. They've got the punctuation where the punctuation goes. They check the spelling on all the words, versus a copywriter who is really trying to get into the head of your customer while speaking in the voice of the business owner. And so there's a difference. And so there is a couple of tricks that I use as a copywriter to do that. But I don't know if your audience is necessarily interested in that, but that is the difference that makes a copywriter versus just a good virtual assistant. So there's definitely a difference.
That's it. And I think that a lot of you guys are probably thinking about building a team. Maybe you already started building a team. Maybe you got a guy that details your cars. Maybe you have a mechanic like me, or maybe you've got somebody who handles your sales for you because you don't like to deal with the public. But you may not have thought about this portion of your team. And it is so vital, because see, yeah, I could fix my car. I told you I put an alternator on a Ford F-150. When I was a kid, I would have done that myself. And because I did that by myself, I know now that I should not do that.
Do that.
I can put an alternator on a car and tear up the entire electrical system. I mean, you don't think that's possible? I tell you, I can do it. I can change a car and break one of my ribs. It is crazy how bad things can go if I do what I'm not trained to do. And that's why I've got Dennis. And see, Dennis does it, and his guys do it so well and so efficiently that I can use what I'm good at and do that. And so that's what we're talking about, the same thing. Somebody like Rachel, better yet, Rachel, can work for you and give you a chance to go do that thing that you're great at. If you're a guy like Dennis, or if you're a brilliant body man, you can take that thing that was damaged and make it look like new. Or if you're just awesome at hunting up vehicles so that you can wholesale them to other guys like me, get out and do that, but shift away the things that you don't like doing or that you're not good at. And that's really what we're talking about with team. And this is just another area, and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, because you hire this out, you contract it out, and you get a quality person on your team that helps you make money. It's a hell of a good investment. And
oh, it is. And I love that pitch right there, Randy. That was wonderful of you.
The pitches always roll out of my mouth, but I mean every word. Just like
I love them.
When I've talked in the past about Melody Tholstrup, who was on our show in episode 31, and she's just been such a blessing to me. It's so easy to talk about things that you truly believe in. I mean, I did an episode on Suzuki Grand Vitaras because I've owned 6 of them. I love to buy them and sell them because I know they're the greatest cars. I drive one, my wife drives one. If you believe in something, it's easy to talk about. So anybody's got a Suzuki Grand
That is
Vitara
true.
in North Alabama, make sure you call me before you sell it, because I probably want to buy it. But that's neither here nor there. Hey, one other thing, and I don't want to tie up your whole morning, because I know you got stuff cooking with your family. Oh, congratulations on that race you did the other day. I thought, Rachel, did you do like a
Thank you.
8-hour race or?
Well, I did. Well, it was a 12-hour race, but I'll hold up just a second and say that I did it with my sister-in-law, and it was something just fun that we did. We mostly walked it. I'm a runner in my old life, and I still do run some, but because it's a 12-hour race, we had not taken that amount of time to train for it. We walked it, and it was so much fun. It's called the Delano. It's 12-hour Delano, or Delano 12. And so it's in Decatur, Alabama. It's a fun race every year. It happens. And so we did that. And so it was just exciting and good to be with my sister-in-law, and my brother-in-law and father-in-law were there as well too. So they had their own team. So
how do they know where you're at after 12 hours?
Delano is a park, and so it's about a 1 mile course. So I mean, you just loop it. That's what I'm saying. It was a beautiful day. So it's fantastic.
Okay.
Just a fantastic opportunity to be with my family next to.
Send a truck to Athens, Alabama, and pick everybody up and bring them home. Yeah,
it was not that. There are races like that. That was not Delano 12.
Yeah, I've had a.
So
the other day I mentioned during our meeting, our ladies group meeting, I mentioned that a young man was out here doing a pressure washing on my property, and I was so proud of him. He's building this little business, and I'll give him a shout out. His name's Michael, and he runs a company called 256 Pro Wash here in North Alabama. And if you need your place to look like new, this guy is great. I know that there's very little value to that for him, but I give him a shout out. But here's why I bring him up is we were wrapping up the business, and I was making sure he got paid and stuff. And he said, hey, would you mind going online and leave me a good review? And I said, absolutely. I will absolutely. I write the best reviews anybody ever saw, and I definitely will do that. But my point being is that he remembered to ask me, and that was so smart. Do you have any recommendations on how we do that? You know, for our Google My Business page and our Facebook page, is that an area that you work into?
I do work in that some, but my number one suggestion is just like your friend Michael, is that you've got to ask. And the thing is, we are so scared to ask, including me. But when people are happy with your service, I mean, Randy, I know you were excited to write that Google review for Michael. That did not hurt you one bit. You weren't angry. And so that's my number one suggestion to people, is that we do have to be willing to ask and get in the habit of it. And it really could just be a templated email or a templated private message on Facebook where you script it out. Just thank you so much for doing business with me. I love working with people like you, and I want to work with more people like you. Will you please write me a review? And then put the link in there of where you would love that review to be. And on Google or on Facebook or both. I mean, sometimes, you know, you may be asking a lot for them to do two, but it's definitely, we got to ask, number one. And then number two, don't make it so hard on yourself. Create a nice message, template it out, leave it somewhere where you can just copy and paste it over and over again. And it says something like, I appreciate customers like you, and I want more customers like you. Will you please leave me a review here? And then be sure to respond to. That's the next thing too. Step number two is be sure to respond to their review when they do leave it. Is to be sure to thank them there publicly as well. Yeah,
that is awesome. Really, I love that templated concept, and you know, you do it once. You know, do it once instead of having to redo it. That's just so smart. And guys, if you want to review some really great stuff we talked about on social media, in improving our reputation. You know, Kathy Cruz from Cruise Control out in Los Angeles was on episode 52, I think. And we also have about 4 or 5 of her articles from Used Car Dealer Magazine that I've reposted in the Flippers Forum. And I want to mention the Flippers Forum for the 585th time this week. because you guys got to get on there and share with each other. Share any ideas that you have along these lines. Rachel's also a member of the Flippers Forum, and if you want to reach out and ask Rachel a question there, I'm sure she'll be happy to interact with you there. It's free to join. Just go to flippinggenius.com, 1G in the middle, and you'll see the Flippers Forum link. Click on that. It's free to join. Tell me a little bit about yourself, if you will, so I know that you're not some robot from Indonesia trying to steal my identity. And I'll let you in, and then talk to each other. Share your ideas. Let's make some money, man. And that's what it's all about. Now, Rachel, I appreciate you so much for taking the time. Before I let you go, I want you to tell everybody about your course. Rachel's got a digital training course that is magnificent. It's helped me, and it'll help you. I'll shut up and tell them.
Okay, so my course is called Creating an Ideal Customer Story. The story part came about because I'm like you, I heard the buzzword for years, ideal customer. And I still, when I would sit down as a writer, I still would have a hard time writing because I didn't know at the time what I know now. But at the same time, I could not visualize who it was I was writing to. And the point here is, of course, you don't want one great customer. We want 500 great customers, but you do have to hone in on an ideal customer so you can speak to that person. And then that person, by speaking directly to that person, you start to pull more people towards you that are like that ideal customer. So the course is called Creating an Ideal Customer Story, and it helps you to start thinking about who your ideal customer is and writing a very brief narrative about that person so that when you sit down on social media or when you sit down to write that email, you can visualize who it is that you're writing to. We'll go back to that buzzword, pain points, or you can visualize their objections. And so that's why that course came about. It's right now, it's like $19.99, I think, and you can get it on my site, inspiretoengage.com/online courses. So inspiretoengage.com/online courses.
She didn't mean $1,999.
Yeah, go ahead.
She didn't mean $1,999 like I would ask you for it. She meant $19.99. $20. $20 2 hours of your time, and you're going to zero in on who you want to be working with. This is a great course. And tell us again how they can find that.
Go to my website, inspiretoengage.com. There's no spaces there. It's all lowercase /online courses. And I will tell you, Randy knows behind the scenes, I am putting out a new website at the end of March. He and I are recording this like mid-March. And so if for some reason my site was down for a couple of days, you can always email me at rachel@inspiretoengage.com. And of course, feel free to email me whether it's about the course or not, but it's rachel@inspiretoengage.com.
Would it be all right if we put a link to your course on our resources page?
Of course.
Okay, we'll do that.
Of course, Randy, please, by all means.
So guys, if you go to the resources page at Flipping Genius, click on, I believe it'll be the education and training link, and we'll have Rachel's course on there so you can click on it. And remember, I would normally charge you $2,000 for this course. She's going to sell it to you for $20. It is.
You're wonderful.
So that's a pretty cool thing. And now, Rachel, you talked about how we can hire you as a consultant. That's great. I really would love it if you got rich from doing an interview with me, because that you deserve to get rich for talking to me. Guys, she will help you,
and I would pay you commission.
Yeah, she's going to help you make money. So inspiretoengage.com, right, is your website. You can go there. There's lots of cool stuff already, and then Rachel's investing in an even better site. And if you want to see how to improve your online visibility on how you look online, go to Rachel's site right now, and then go to Rachel's site in April and see what she did, because she's practicing what she's preaching. She's stepping up her game right in front of us, and you can learn how to hire Rachel for your business. And you can be back under the car or back on the street or whatever it is you're good at. Let Rachel do what you're not good at. And one of the things that she is awesome at is her podcast. I absolutely do not miss one of her podcasts. I've got a handful of podcasts I listen to all the time, and hers is one of them. And we started in this thing about the same time as far as
Mm-hmm.
podcasters. And she is so good at it. She has she interviews mostly women and they're women business owners. And sometimes I get done listening and I cannot believe how I found these things in this conversation about baby photography or a conversation of wedding planning. And I found stuff that helps me with my flipping business as well as my other businesses because they're talking about business. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
business. And I'm talking about making money and doing the right thing and working smart. And if you want to learn more about that, you just look up Inspire to Engage wherever you listen to podcasts. And how many episodes do you have out now, Rachel?
I think I'm at episode 46 or 47.
Okay.
So, but it's partly because I have great cheerleaders like you, Randy, and I appreciate you saying that. And I think you hit on something. I know that we're about out of time, and I think my phone's about out of battery. So, but you did hit on something that is so powerful, is that we can learn from other niches. And in fact, that's what great business owners do, is that they don't just sit in the flipping car business. I can't just sit in the copywriting business. I have to look out and see what is working for other businesses and bring that in. And sometimes that's what makes us stand out from the other businesses, because we're doing that. And that's how I feel about words all the time. People push back about emails and nice direct messages. The thing is are other car flippers sending well thought out emails? So there you go. You're able to stand out right there. So your words allow you to stand out. So I appreciate you cheering on the podcast. And I want you on soon, because you have said that several times, like, you mostly have me. And I'm like, well, I need to have Randy on soon too then. Okay. And so you be prepared. Okay. I'm going to be talking to you soon about it. Okay.
I would love to do it. I'll try not to insult anybody or hurt their feelings.
You won't. You won't.
This has been a lot of fun, Rachel. And I knew it would be, and it's even been better than I thought it would be. So this is so cool. And I know you're going to help flippers worldwide. We are in 37 countries, and we just had
that's awesome.
We had forum members join from South America and Europe this week. So it is expanding, and it's really cool. And they're doing the same stuff with an accent someplace.
I love this. I think it's brilliant, taking something that has already been used and making it even better and reselling it to somebody who really needs it or wants it. I think it's a brilliant business, and I'm so glad, and I appreciate your audience listening to me and allowing me to be here today. And I'm so glad that you have a podcast out there doing this. It's a smart business move, and it's something that people need and want. And so you guys are doing it. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much, Rachel. I'm an old dude with old school ideas. I still find a way to do one-on-one business, but getting to that point takes some new world marketing. My friend Rachel Eubanks has helped me with this, and now she can help you too. Rachel has created a digital course called Creating an Ideal Customer Story. Rachel's course helped me save time, refine my communication, and increase my bottom line. It takes less than 3 hours to complete, and she has it available now at our resources page at flippinggenius.com for only $20. Frankly, it doesn't matter where you are on your path to flipping geniusness, or any other business venture for that matter. Rachel's course will help you make more money. Go to our resources page at flippinggenius.com and get started on your journey to creating an ideal customer story today. And I want to remind you of the Flippers Forum, the Car Flippers Forum on Facebook. It's a great place for all of us to interact and exchange ideas. Just look for Flipping Genius. Just search Flipping Genius under groups on Facebook. It's free to join, and it is designed to help us all make more money. That is the number one goal of this podcast, and it's the number one goal of the forum. You'll find members there from all different levels of experience. And I want to encourage everybody who is there to interact as much as you possibly can, to share your ideas, share your answers to questions, and let's try to help each other make money. Again, it's free. Just search Car Flippers Forum on Facebook. Search under Flipping Genius. If you look up Flipping Genius, you'll see it's one of our groups. And you'll also see car selling groups all around the country. If you see one in your area, join it. Tell me a little bit about who you are and why you want to join and why you want to be in the forum. Maybe a little bit about your experience. I do ask you to do that and give me your email address so we can stay in contact with you. Plus, you would not believe the amount of people who try to join our groups that are just trying to spam us. In the Huntsville group that we have about 27,000 members in, I am rejecting and blocking over 100 people a day now that are trying to, join just for the opportunity to try to steal your identity or whatever fun stuff they do. So please tell me a little bit about yourself, your email address. We won't drive you crazy. We're just trying to get this word out, help you make money. I want to remind you again about the Flipping Team Member Program and the rewards. This is one of them. Just come to Flipping Genius and flippinggenius.com, 1G in the middle, like you see here. If you're watching the video, I just pointed to the website. Come to flippinggenius.com and click on either the private access button on the welcome page, or click on the Flipping Team Member button. And you're going to see the list of rewards that you get when you become a member, and you'll see that far outweighs what you're asked to give us. And frankly, you help keep the Flipping Genius podcast and YouTube channel and everything else we're trying to do. You help keep it growing, and you are rewarded handsomely. Check it out. I want to remind you to email me questions at flippingquestions@gmail.com, or go to the website flippinggenius.com, or go to the Flippers forum and post your questions there. I would love that if you'll do that there, because not only will I answer them, and I will, but also all of the other guys that are there and ladies that are there, they will participate with you and share their ideas. There's some sharing going on, but we could do a lot more. I'd like to see that thing grow like crazy, but we want to grow it right. So share your ideas, your struggles, your victories, your failures. Share what you would suggest for future episodes, what you'd like answers to, and we'll do everything we can to build it. We're here to try to build this for you. Hey, I want to thank Rachel Eubanks. Thank you, Rachel. And hey, check out Rachel's podcast, Inspire to Engage. Like I said, I don't miss an episode. I recommend that you do the same, that you listen. You'll learn a lot about business and from a different perspective. But she's got some great input. You can go to our website and you'll find links to Rachel's website, her podcast, and her digital course, Creating an Ideal Customer Story. Like I said, it's helped me immensely, and I highly recommend it. I don't know why she's only charging $20, but take advantage of that. It is really well worth it. Very well done. So just go to our resources page at flippinggenius.com, and you can link to all that information there and get access to Rachel's podcast, which is called Inspire to Engage, if you want to search it separately. Her website is also Inspire to Engage, and her class is, I just told you, Creating an Ideal Customer Story. And we're not asking anything from Rachel for that, just trying to pay her back for taking the time to talk to us. So please check her out. Hey, I want to thank you guys. I thank everybody who listens to this podcast. I want you to come back, share it with your friends, click us as a favorite, leave us a 5-star review. It helps us a lot. You see the resources page, you'll see we spend some time trying to build a bank of resources that can benefit our car flippers. And it's beneficial to us to have a bigger audience. We are growing the audience both on the podcast and in YouTube, but we just keep pushing and driving, and we just ask you to keep coming back. Become a Flipping Team member if you can. Your contribution makes this program possible, and I thank every one of you who have done that. It means a ton to me, and I want to give back even more than you're giving to us. But everything that you do helps us progress this. So if you're not a flipping team member yet, please consider doing that. The number one goal of the Flipping Genius podcast is to help our listeners make more money. And I'll keep working towards that and trying to provide you the best resources, both in audio and video and in resources themselves through our website. But I need your help. I just need your help. Okay, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses. If you buy and sell cars for a profit, or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius Podcast. I am your host, Randy Lee. I've been flipping cars most of my life, despite having almost zero mechanical skill. For the past dozen years or so, I've been a licensed used car dealer in the great state of Alabama. No matter what the topic, the number one goal of this podcast is to help our listeners make more money. Let's get to it, flippers.